Alright friends, we are going to do some Paul Klee inspired cats. We're going to be using basic shapes to make our cat, and there's going to be some things that are a little different and abstract about this cat from a realistic drawing of a cat. So I'm going to start you with the basic body and the head, and then we'll go into the details and the lines and shapes inside of our cat. So I'm going to go in and start with a circle first. And you want to leave room for the ears, so don't go too far up. Remember, in our focus and our goal has been to draw our shapes big. So you are going to continue to practice that right now. So I'm going to start with my circle. Then I'm going to do triangles for the ear. And by the way, friends, if there's a different shape that you would like to draw for different parts of the cat, you can. Maybe you want to give your cat square ears. I don't know. That's very interesting. So if that's something you want to try and experiment with, that's okay. This artist loves to do things different from what everyone else is doing. I'm now going to give my cat a collar. So I'm going to come up, do a line on each side of the circle that's the same length, and then do a line that comes across. Just to make our cat extra special and decorative, I'd like you to think of a pattern that you want to repeat, either a line or shape pattern in the color. I'm going to do just straight lines like this. But there's many things you could do. As you can see in my original, I did polka dots. Okay, now I'm going to do the shoulders. I'm going to do a curve that comes from the corner of that collar down to the bottom of my paper. Looking good, friends. I'm going to do an upside down triangle for the nose. And then a V that comes off of that. That's the lips. We don't want to add a lot of detail. This artist kept their lines and shapes simple. Maybe some lines for whiskers. And then we're going to do the eyes. And for the eyes, I'm going to do squares. Really weird, I know, but again, this is not a realistic looking cat. And then a V. If you want to change the shapes, maybe instead of doing squares, doing triangles, go ahead, friends. So some kind of shape on both sides for the eyes. And now I'm going to start to draw some lines within my body, just to kind of break it up into some more shapes. So I'm going to go in and do a line that comes down the middle. And then one line on each side that comes across. Your goal is to make sections in your cat. If you want to do your lines going in a different direction, that's fine, but I ask that they are not floating lines, meaning they go from one side of the body to either another line or another side of the body. And I also ask that you only do about 4 lines at the most on the body. Okay, friends, so there's that. We're going to actually do a tail too, and that's just going to be a curve that comes up, around, and comes back to the body. And then within that, we're going to do lines too. So I'm going to do 2 to 3 lines in the tail, not too many. And again, it can go in any direction you want, but it cannot be a floating line. It needs to touch another line or the edge of a body. So let me show you an example of a floating line. This would be an example. It doesn't touch, both sides don't touch the edge of another line. So I'm going to go in and make sure that this touches the edge of the body. And I'm going to do another one off of there. I'm good. I'm going to leave it at that. Okay, friends, so now you're going to decide if you want to use warm or cool colors to color in that cat. Okay, so we've talked about the warm and cold colors. There might be different shades of your warm and cold colors while you're coloring. That's okay. Experiment. In my original, I used cold colors for my cat and the cat's body. The background's going to be a little different, but I did cold colors. If you would rather do warm colors, that's okay, but we're not going to do both. You need to figure out, are you team warm or are you team cold? So I'm going to go in and I'm going to do warm colors for this example. And I'm going to go in my shapes with my first warm. And then I'm going to outline them, fill them in. So I'm starting with the nose. It does not matter where you start. I might keep working with this first color and then move to another one. Getting my ears, outlining the shape, filling it in, outline. Then fill it in. Okay, let's see. This little area in the tail, I made a shape. So I'm gonna outline that shape. And fill in. I do not want you to color the whole section one color. Find each shape and work your way around with different colors. So maybe I'm gonna now move around down here. And I'm pushing really hard on my crayon to get nice bright colors. I'm going in layers and going back on top a few times too. This should be review for us, but we're gonna make sure that we really make it look nice, bright, and smooth, because that's how the paintings were by Paul Klee. All right, maybe I'll do a little orange in the collar. So I have orange. What two color friends do I need to add? If I'm doing warm and I have orange, what other two colors do I need to add? Great, red and yellow. So now I'm gonna go in with my red and yellow, and I'm gonna start to color in my shapes with those shapes. So I'm gonna go in with red, and then after that, I'll do my yellow. Okay, friends, I'm gonna make a mistake, and I want you to tell me what I'm doing wrong. Does anybody know what I did wrong? Oh yeah, blue is not a warm color. That's a cold color, Mrs. Plummer. Oh man, that's okay. I'm gonna leave it, but when you are doing yours, my friends, make sure that you are picking either your warm or cold colors, not both for that cat. All right, friends, that's all colored in with warm colors. As you can tell, whoops, that was a little mistake I made on my tail, so that blue does not belong there, but that's okay. You might have also noticed I used pink. I always have people ask me if pink is a warm or cold color. It's a warm color. Pink is actually just red with white mixed in it. It's a tint of red. So now we're going to do our background, and as you can tell in my background, I repeated lines. And when I did my background, I wanted to do the opposite. So what's great about doing the opposite in the background from your object or your focal point is it makes the artwork come together very nicely. It creates a nice contrast where two things are very different from one another. It helps your cat pop. So you are going to do a 3-line pattern, and you're going to use the opposite colors of your cat. So if you did a cold color cat, what color background should you have? Warm colors. If you did a warm color cat, you should have cold colors. So I did a warm color cat. I'm gonna grab my 3 colds, which are green, purple, blue. Think about 3 lines I'd like to draw on my background, and we are gonna do a 3-line pattern. So I'm gonna start with my first line, and I wanna leave a lot of room for my other 2 lines. I'm gonna do for mine, loop-de-loop. So I'm pushing hard on that crayon, making it nice and bold, and I'm going all the way from one side of the paper to the next. I'm gonna come down a lot because I've got 2 lines I have to squeeze between that one. And I'm gonna go in, make sure I'm working around the cat, again with that same line with that first color, and I'm gonna do that till I get all the way across the page. Now remember, your lines are going behind your cat, not through it. Okay, now I'm gonna think of a new line that comes below that one. So I'm gonna grab another cold color. Maybe this time I wanna do zigzag. Because I left enough room, I'll be able to go in with a 3rd line. All right, one more line. What do I wanna do? Maybe I'll do some dashed. So your lines do not have to be the same as mine, but you need to have them in a pattern, meaning they go in an order, and you also need to have them be either cold or warm colors and go behind your cat. All right, friends, so you can read your pattern to yourself, make sure that you have it correct, and that it repeats and goes in an order. After you're done with the background, we have now finished the project.